Alright, so let's talk about My Backup. My Backup is a film produced by Toyin and Olumide Fatusin. It was directed by Toyin Fatusin, written by Toyin Fatusin, and the light and sound was done by Olumide Fatusin. And then the DOP on the set was Toyin Fatusin. It was done under the umbrella of the Overcomers Film Production, Spain. Yeah, so this movie features cast like Hannah Siju, who played Pastor Deborah, and then Temitope Siju, who played Pastor Festus, and then Toyin Fatusin, who played Prophetess Victoria, sorry for that, and then Folarin Akinshola, who played Reverend Matthias, and then Titilayo Akin, who played Reverend Mrs. Matthias, and then Olumide Fatusin, who played Pastor Larry. Yeah. So if I finally read this movie, let me just be giving you a brief summary of the storyline. It tells the story of a woman who was in ministry, genuine ministry. She was a teacher. She and her husband, they had spiritual mentors. Not until a prophetess came into the scene, came into their lives, in the sense that a prophetess was brought to their church to minister, and then at the end of the day, the prophetess located this woman who was already in ministry, and then started getting close to her, not knowing that this prophetess had intentions. This prophetess was occultic, she was evil, and then this woman would not listen to anybody. Her husband talked to her about this prophetess, her pastor talked to her about this prophetess, but she did not listen. She just paid deaf ears to everybody who wanted to confront her or talk to her about this prophetess. She just wouldn't listen. She kept on following this prophetess. Meanwhile, this prophetess had evil intentions. She had intentions to initiate her and bring her to her kingdom, and initiate her finally where she'll be operating as a minister, and also engaging in other occultic activities. She did not listen to anybody. She did not listen to her pastor. Like I said earlier, at the end of the day, she fell victim of this prophetess, in the sense that she was locked up in the prophetess deceived her to go to travel for a retreat. Meanwhile, the prophetess had a plan to initiate her in that it was a plan to initiate her. So her husband talked to her not to go, but her pastor also talked to her. Her pastor's wife, as their spiritual parents, talked to her, but she would not just listen. Can you imagine that this woman change her spiritual mentor to this prophetess, this evil prophetess, because she was blind to the fact that this prophetess was evil, and she would not just listen to anybody. So she was locked up with this prophetess in a room, and then this prophetess was just about to initiate her. Thank God for the tiny intervention of God through her husband, who kept on praying. I mean, I love that. I mean, it's not all the time that we should say the women should always be the one interceding. They should always be the one standing for the family. This time around, the husband was interceding for his wife and interceding for the family. He prayed for her not until she was delivered from the hand of this prophetess. I won't be going far. This story is brilliant, beautiful story, beautiful message, great, it's powerful, and I advise you all to go and check it out. Shut up to the things I love and things I did not like about this movie. As you all know, I'll always be giving you the way it is, straight up the way it is. Straight up to the things I love and things I did not love. Things I like about this movie: sound 100%. I heard everything and it was so clear and crisp. Message was not only directed to women this time, but men were also addressed to also stand for their families. Cinematography beautiful, drone shots beautiful. Spain, I saw Spain, so beautiful, and camera works were so beautiful. Acting by all the cast did greatly. I won't mention names. All the cast were good, but I would like to give kudos to Toyin Fatusin herself. She did an extraordinary job in interpreting the role of this occultic prophetess. She did well. Also, the costume and makeup was beautiful. It was very good. And then location, beautiful, like I said earlier. And then it was funny. At some point, it was hilarious. And then the duration was okay. 1 hour, 5 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. And it was okay. Straight up to the things I did not like about this movie: I've not seen anywhere where witches do expose their schemes. You understand? When the prophetess kept on explaining her schemes to this woman. I mean, that's uncalled for. Witches don't do that. They just act immediately. They don't tell you. I mean, the prophetess said, "I also noticed that you are fearful about enemies, so I use that weapon also to bring you under me. And because of the accuracies of those prophecies, it became very easy to bring you under me and manipulate you." She kept on talking and talking and talking. I mean, that went too far. Witches don't do that. They just act immediately. So I did not go with that. I mean, she should even be prayed on. Maybe the pastor should pray on her, or maybe it's when somebody prayed on her or pray or administer deliverance, then maybe she starts confessing, but not just on her own like that. exposing the plants, or exposing their plants in their covens. It's not done that way. The second thing I did not like about the movie, there was no suspense. Immediately I saw the prophetess, I knew she had evil agenda. I mean, the slow motion on the camera on the prophetess told me that this woman had evil agenda. I wished they should have done it in a way that I shouldn't have known, or we shouldn't have known that this woman have an evil agenda, because these people come in form of a sheep. They don't just come directly like that for you to be able to recognize them if you see them easily. So I thought they should have made us not to know her. At the end of the day, then we'd be like, so this woman is evil, and then we'll be more careful than the way it was. The second thing I did not like about the movie was the phone showed that they were not answering any phone conversation. I mean, it just showed blank, and I mean, the camera shouldn't have been that close, or they shouldn't have zoomed it, or it shouldn't have just been that close, because it showed that they were not in any of the phone call scenes. It shows that they were not answering any phone calls at all. I could see the screen of the phone. The next thing I did not like about the movie was the transition between one scene to another. The editing wasn't perfect. It was a kind of too sudden, the transition from one scene to the other. Even within a scene, when it's a close-up shot on a person, when it wants to go to another person, the transition is too sudden. I think it should have been smoother than that. Next thing I did not like was some cast were looking straight into the camera lens, and that wasn't good enough. And the last thing I did not like about this movie was the voiceover of the demon that was talking to the prophetess. The voice of the demon was too childish. The voice was too weak, and the voice wasn't just okay for me. I did not go well. The laughter of the demon was weak. The voice wasn't thick. You understand what I'm saying? So this is all I'm able to gather for my backup. I still think it's a great one, so I advise you all to go and see it. Testimonies are already rolling in for this movie, so I advise you all to not be left out. Go and check it out, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you agree with what I said? Let me know in the comment section. Don't you? Let me also know. Keep your fingers crossed for more videos and reviews from me. Bye for now. My name remains Oris Daniel. I'll see you all later in the next one.